So hello. I'm gonna show you how I use Bokashi in my kitchen and my system of composting kitchen scraps. And the reason I started using Bokashi is that a bucket like this that I use for kitchen scraps starts smelling after about 2-3 days in the kitchen, and it takes about 7 days to fill bucket like this in with our family. And so I thought that I'll start doing Bokashi because it was supposed to remove the smells from kitchen scraps. And so this is the system. So I use this bucket for collecting Bokashi, and this is Bokashi, and this is Bokashi brand. So this is my flakes. This is I think a rye brand too, and I fermented it with Bokashi, and then every time I empty this little container, which I have here, into the big container, I sprinkle about half a cup of Bokashi brand on top of it, like this here. Then I have another instrument here. This is potato masher, and I just push it down here and try to squeeze out all the air from this Bokashi bucket. So how it works throughout the day, I keep collecting kitchen scraps into this little bucket, and then in the evening before I go to sleep, I empty it there, put some Bokashi from the small bucket, and then I push it down with a masher. So usually many of the commercial systems, they have a little spout here at the bottom. I don't have it. It's, in my opinion, it's completely unnecessary, because the water, the liquid will start collecting at the bottom, and then when it's all collected after a few weeks of fermentation, I'll just drain it, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so I'll go to the garage where I keep the other buckets, and I'll show you what it looks like, what the fermented Bokashi looks like after a few weeks. So Bokashi should be fermented for another about 4 weeks before it is usually buried in the soil. However, I don't bury it in the soil because I use it for my worm farms. Here's my 52 worm farms, and I put Bokashi into these bins with worms. But this is what comes out of the kitchen. So here I mark the week. So this is week 33, 31, and week 34. Now we are in a week 36. So that bucket in the kitchen will be marked 36. So let's have a look at the oldest Bokashi, which is 5 weeks old. And that's what it looks like. You can see the white stuff on top of it, and that white mash is a Bokashi, the fermentation. So it doesn't smell. It has a very mild smell, as of I would say like a pickles perhaps, or sauerkraut, and a bit of like penicillin, little bit mushroomy smell, and worms love it. But usually they recommend to bury it in the soil, and it breaks down very quickly because it is pre-composted with Bokashi, so it turns into soil in a couple of months. Okay, so when I ferment this for about 4 weeks, then I'm going to drain the liquid from the bottom. So I'll show you how I do that. Alright, so when I add a new bucket to my little set of buckets that you just seen in the garage, then I take the oldest bucket out and drain the liquid from it. So this is the liquid, and this liquid can be used in drains to unclog it, and it has few uses that's easy to find on the internet. But I'll replace the lid with that the oldest bucket has, with the lid with little holes, and then I just tip it like this and drain all the water. After that, I'll take the content of this Bokashi bucket and put it in the worm farm. And the oldest worm farm that I have, or the one that was filled at the latest, or the earliest date, I take it out and collect worm castings from it as a fertilizer. So yeah, so that's about it. And but if you don't have a worm farm, you can just bury it. And the good thing about it is, before, when I was burying kitchen scraps in the ground without Bokashi fermentation, I had problems with the wildlife, because here in Tasmania we have a lot of bandicoots and all sorts of animals running around, and they just dig things out and they make mess all around the place. But when I started, I tested Bokashi kitchen scraps, and no wildlife even touches it. So that's why I started big Bokashi fermentation, and now instead of 4 little buckets, I have 4 big buckets, which content actually goes to the garden rather than to the worms. So hopefully it helps, and if you have any questions, I can make another video and answer them. Cool. Thank you very much. Have a good day.